Hey, this is Jon Melby. It's time for another podcast episode. This one is about how the show must go on no matter what the situation. Be right back. Stand by.
So here's the deal. Life is like a roller coaster ride, but there's a secret to having a fear-free life. A life that's outside of your comfort zone, where it's fun, exciting, and dream-fulfilling. That life is in the danger zone. Hi, my name is Jon Melby. I'm a professional airshow pilot, and this podcast will teach you the secrets and the tricks that have a life in the danger zone.
All right, hey everybody. Good day to you. It's kind of a beautiful Monday here in Phoenix, Arizona, and it's cloudy today, which is kind of interesting because it's hardly ever cloudy in Phoenix, and so I haven't seen clouds for a long time. And those of you that listen to this podcast that live in cloudy areas, you're like, what the heck are you talking about? It's just, it's been sunny every single day. Looking for some rain for tomorrow, so it's kind of exciting for us because we're going to get some rain here in Phoenix. But living here is wonderful because you have the opportunity to fly whenever you want to. So as a pilot, I really like that, and I like this time of the year in wintertime, even though I'm wearing a little bit warmer outfit today. Just kind of the way it is. So this podcast is about how the show must go on no matter what. You can hear from my voice here, I've got still remnants of a cold. Believe it or not, I've had this thing for like 3 weeks. So this is why I haven't had any podcasts actually for a month, because it's right now it's going on the fourth week. It's insane that I've had it this long. But it's just everyone seems to be having it, so it's kind of a crazy deal. And it doesn't help that I've been pushing myself so hard prior to this happening. I was getting like 4 hours of sleep, and I was working like a madman. And so, you make your bed, sometimes you got to sleep in it. And by the way, every morning you should be making your bed in the morning, because it's an important thing to do. I learned that in the military, that if you make your bed in the morning, then it's a good way to start your day. I don't know where that came from, but it is what it is. So last Saturday, I ended up flying an air show in Buckeye, Arizona. I got notified that somebody else was supposed to fly this air show, but they couldn't make it. And that was about 10 days prior to that. And they called me, asked if I could be there to fly in the air show, and I said, sure, I'll be there. And that was kind of about the time I started getting sick, but I figured it should only be a few days. It ended up being that I went to that air show, and I had congestion, a little bit in my chest, but mostly my nose. And I don't know about you, but it's just not a lot of fun when you have that. Well, try that while you're flying an airplane and pulling G loads. So you got to maintain your blood pressure, which means you have to have your stomach really tight. And as you're pulling to the vertical, and at any time, then the G loads that are enforced upon your body become increased. And in my case, 8.5 to 9 G pulls, and I have to pressurize my stomach muscles in order to keep the blood pressure in my head so I don't lose vision of my eyes. That's just a standard thing that we do if you're flying heavy G loads in aerobatics. And but when you do that with a congestion in your nose, it was just like painful just thinking about it. Well, I get to the air show site on a Friday to get a practice in, and then and I just wasn't feeling too great, but I also thought, well, maybe it'll go away overnight, which it didn't. Saturday morning I wake up, and here it is. I still got congestion, and I don't want to be around the crowd like that. That's not a lot of fun, and they don't want to see some dude that's sniffling and sneezing. So I had to go to the restroom about every half an hour or so to blow my nose. Sorry, TMI, but that's just facts. So I had to deal with that on during that morning for the show. Fortunately, the show started around 11 o'clock, and then we finished around 12:30 for just the air show portion of it. And what was really interesting is that I woke up in the morning and I looked outside, and I didn't feel too bad. And it was just early morning, sun was coming up, and I thought, this is a great day where I'd rather just stay in bed and not go do this. And the reality is the show must go on. When you're getting paid for one thing, but also people are there to see you and to perform. Sometimes it's different than working in your job. But I don't know, is it the same thing or not? It's kind of funny because we can justify the fact of why we don't need to do something just because of some outlying factors. In my case, I wasn't feeling well. I had to make a decision. Am I well enough to fly the airplane safely and also be a performer? And what I came up with is that I'm fine, I'm okay, it just is not comfortable, and I need to work my way around it because people are there to see me fly, along with my fellow performers. But, one of the things we had to do is we didn't even get a chance to practice this just because there wasn't enough time, but I had to jump up in the air with my buddy Will and had him. He's not formation qualified, I am, so I had him jump on the left wing, and then I was on the right wing, and we were to intercept a jump plane. So they had a little Cessna, a little 4-passenger plane, and one of my friends, Cindy, she was jumping out of the airplane to open up the show. And there's no practice, and I don't know, have you ever had it where you're just feeling, you get congestion, you just don't feel it, you don't feel that well, and you're not firing on all cylinders, you're not totally there? Those are the safety factors I have to look at. Is that going to be an issue for me to be able to do what I do? And what I came up with is all the way through this process, in the morning, all the way to the briefing time, to the time we jumped in the airplanes, I had to think, am I ready to do this? And it's really fun to watch when the fire's on and you really have to get things done, how you just kick into overdrive and you compensate for those areas in your life that's a little weaker. So in my case, I wasn't feeling quite well, but I had to kick it into like 120%, so I was, and still monitor to make sure I was safe. And what I came up with when we got out to the aircraft, I was spot on, and I felt really good, and we did the circling of the jumpers. And what that means is the jumper jumped out of the airplane, and Will went after her. I went after Will, and we put smoke on airplanes, and we countered each other, and we just did, we were opposing each other, circling Cindy as she came down to about 1,000 feet. When she got to 1,000 feet, we broke off and went to a holding area. And the whole time I was just way advanced in terms of where my brain was at. I was very well aware of what was going on, and I was flying well, and it was okay. But then, it's funny because, other things I have to do around my house, like my office for the last month, is just piled up with paperwork. It's just turned into a wreck, and it's not even fun to go in there because my home office, because it's just messy. And yet I'm able to go out and fly and do this other stuff. So my priorities, are they straight? Are they correct? And even when we talk about fear and fear management, going into something like this, I've got a lot of experience. I know what I'm doing, but I'm also trying to gauge when I should be giving 120% power, when I should be backing off. So what I've been doing is, at home, I've been kind of relaxing a little bit and just taking it easy, and then pushing through more succinctly, more directly on the areas that are the most important in my life. But yet, now I'm sitting here after 4 weeks and I'm feeling 100% better. My office is a wreck. I got a bunch of stuff I have to do around my house. It's not quite there. I got stuff to do on the airplane. I have air shows coming up, so I have to plan for those. And they're not fully there. But the bottom line is the show must go on. And that show in your life is, no matter what it is that you do, that people are expecting you to do whatever it is that you do, if you don't show up and give it the best under the circumstances that you're in, then you have to really look at your credibility, the value that you provide, and your own value. And you're looking at yourself, or you're like kicking yourself afterwards, I should have done better. And so sometimes when we're going through adversities like this, in my case, I'm just imparting upon you that it's okay to balance yourself, but things that you're expected to do, you need to pull through. And I think what happens is, if people know that you're not feeling well, then there's this impression that they look at you like, wow, there's somebody with value. And if they do, if they don't know about it, then it doesn't matter. I was thinking about this with social media, because I have a gazillion different accounts on social media, and it used to be just advertised in a magazine or something, or a newspaper. Well, now your advertising is who you are and where you're at in the world, and just through social media, and that's all immediate. I was making a decision. Some of my friends that are public figures, they'll put in there's different things that are happening in their life, and which is good, because I think a lot of us want to go in there and start looking at what's happening to them. But in my case, I've always decided not to put personal adversities on my site. on any of my social media, because I think people have enough junk in their life. They don't need to add my stuff on top of it. But then I talked to some friends, and they're saying, well, but that's the way people can care about you, and they can see that you're human and you have issues too. It's not like everything's all perfect all the time. So in about the last month, I've posted like 3 things on social media, which I usually do a lot more than that. And it's kind of funny because I started thinking about it again. Maybe they're right. Maybe I need to post stuff. So the show must go on. And I came out of that where I need to maybe throw some light things out there and state that I'm having the reason why I'm not posting on social media, which that whole thing, by the way, just drives me crazy sometimes, because I'm from more of an era where you don't share every little thing. And the people, I was reading some statistics that people spend like, they're on social media 6 to 20 times a day at a minimum looking at stuff. And it's just amazing, because where's our concentration on our own things? I don't know, but it is what it is, and that's pretty much the trend that people are taking. And if that's the case, then maybe I need to post a little bit more. But overall, I think in everything that we're doing in our life, it's so important to make sure that the show must go on. And when you get up in the morning and you just don't feel like doing what you need to do, think about that. The show must go on. And then whatever percentage level you can work at to do the best you can, and then don't complain about the fact that you're sick or you got issues in your life unless there's a need to do that, and just press forward. And that really hit home with me last weekend. I ended up flying probably one of the best air shows I've ever flown, and that was my first air show of the season, which is even funnier because I didn't have a whole lot of practice time, because I wasn't expected to do air shows for another 45 days, so I haven't been practicing as much as I normally do during air show season. So so what happened out of that is I gave it 120, 130%, and then it showed at the end. And the town that I flew for, Buckeye, they said they would love to have me back every year, and it just made such a difference for their show. And for that reason, because they hired me to do that, and I'm a performer and also an aviation advocate, I was able to help people see a different side of aviation, and also to realize that it's safe. Because if I can do what I'm doing and do it safely, then they can certainly jump in an airline, and fly safely there too. All right, so that's it. Remember, the show must go on. If you need to get more information, you can go to jonmelby.com. That's JONMELBY.com. Head over there and take a look at some information that I have there. Sign up for my newsletter that I have, and actually I've got some free guides that I can send you right away, and you'll get several days of some free guides that I use for managing your fear. And for what? To achieve your dreams. And if you're not achieving your dreams, you got to ask yourself, what are you doing on this planet? So go achieve some dreams. You have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
Do you want to learn more about how to live life in a danger zone? My name is Jon Melby, and I'm a professional airshow pilot. Go to my website at jonmelby.com, and I'll give you a free guide on how to deal with the unknown, along with other resources on how to manage fear in your life to make you a more confident, successful you.